Welcome to our virtual supervisory section. And to today's explainer, we're going to unpack the ultimate therapeutic goal for our clients in transactional analysis, achieving true autonomy. Look, as therapists, it is so easy to get completely bogged down in symptom management and weekly crisis interventions. But today, we're stepping back. We're looking at the big picture to explore how we can deeply guide our clients to become fully integrated, autonomous adults. Here's the roadmap for our session today. We'll start with the ultimate clinical goal, look at the 3 capacities of autonomy, and explore the integrated adult. Then we'll move into distinguishing adult feelings, developing adult ethics, and finally wrap up with the courage to win. We'll use this structure to really map out how we diagnose and cultivate an integrated adult ego state in the therapy room. Section 1, the ultimate clinical goal. Let's start by grounding our objectives in the established literature and asking ourselves what we're actually trying to achieve from day one. Viktor Frankl absolutely hit the nail on the head here when he said, "Man ultimately decides for himself, and in the end, education must be education toward the ability to decide." This brilliantly illustrates our core purpose. We aren't here to make decisions for our clients, we're here to clear the path so they can decide for themselves. That ability to choose is the very foundation of mental freedom. So when you're assessing a client, you really have to define autonomy just like this. It means being completely self-governing and taking absolute responsibility for one's own actions and feelings. It's about throwing off those old, irrelevant patterns that keep them stuck so they can live entirely in the here and now. Eric Berne reminds us that everyone has the capacity for autonomy. It's a human birthright. But, as we know, very few actually achieve it because of their early enslavement to parental programming. Now, we have to watch out for a massive clinical pitfall, the illusion of autonomy. How often do we see clients trade one beast for another and falsely call it freedom? A client might swear they've changed their life script, but in reality, they've only changed the setting, the characters, or the costumes. The essence of the drama? Exactly the same. Think of a woman with a Beauty and the Beast script. She might divorce a literal beast, believing she's finally free, only to turn right around and marry another type of beast. True autonomy requires changing the actual essence of the drama, completely breaking free from those deeply ingrained parental instructions. Section 2. 3 capacities of autonomy. To move clients past that illusion, we need to know exactly what behavioral markers we're looking for. Eric Berne tells us a truly autonomous person demonstrates the recovery of 3 specific capacities: awareness, spontaneity, and intimacy. This is absolutely crucial for your practice. You must actively look for these 3 markers during your sessions to gauge clinical progress. If your client is growing, you're going to see these 3 areas inevitably expand. Let's break these down, starting with awareness. This is simply knowing what is happening right now. An aware client peels away the layers of contamination and begins to perceive the world independently, rather than the way they were taught to see it. You know the type. A client without awareness might be sitting in their office, but mentally they're completely consumed by last night's argument. Or they're at a family picnic, mentally writing a business email. An aware client perceives the world through personal encounter, completely in the present moment, to the point where they can stand by a lake and feel a genuine sense of awe. Next up is spontaneity. Now, be careful here. We aren't talking about being foolishly impulsive. Spontaneity is the freedom to choose from the full spectrum of parent, adult, and child behaviors appropriately. It liberates the client from their predetermined life script. They accept their parent and child ego states as personal history, for sure, but they make new decisions rather than remaining at the mercy of fate. They empower themselves to continually reevaluate their behavior and actually take responsibility for their choices. And this brings us to intimacy. Notice how this presents in the therapy room. It's that breakthrough moment when clients finally drop their masks, stop playing games, and risk genuine warmth. Intimacy is expressing the natural child feelings of tenderness and closeness. Abraham Maslow noted that a lot of people need therapists precisely because they don't know how to be intimate. They lack deep friendships. Autonomous people take the risk to be open. They drop the cross transactions and attempt to be completely authentic. Section 3, the integrated adult. Let's see how these capacities build into our advanced case conceptualization of the client's ego states. Visualize the internal mechanics here. As clients move toward autonomy, they develop an integrated adult ego state. Think of the aware adult as an executive. It takes in and filters all that archaic parent and child material. The adult realigns this input, essentially decontaminating their behavior, to form a fully integrated person.
They take total responsibility for everything they feel, think, and believe. When functioning in this integrated adult state, Byrne suggests clients will exhibit 3 distinct tendencies. First, pathos, which is a childlike charm, openness, and personal responsiveness. Second, technics, the pure adult ability to gather information and process data objectively. And third, ethos, a profound sense of ethical responsibility, displaying qualities like courage, sincerity, and loyalty. It's this incredibly beautiful synthesis of intellect, emotion, and morality. Section 4, distinguishing adult feelings. To apply this practically, we need a differential diagnosis of the emotions our clients present to us.
These comparisons are an absolute must for your clinical toolkit. You've got to distinguish between an unintegrated archaic racket from the child or parent and an authentic, situationally appropriate adult feeling. If we accidentally validate a racket during a session, we unwittingly reinforce the client's toxic script. Take anger, for instance. An angry temper tantrum is a racket of the child. It's manipulative, meant to extort a reaction. But legitimate indignation based on an objective injustice, that indicates authentic adult responsibility. Same with sadness. Depression is an indulgence of the child, a learned helplessness. But profound despair, that implies an adult's clear awareness of a tragic reality. Even sympathy is often just copied verbatim from a parent ego state, whereas true understanding involves complex adult information processing. Recognizing these subtle differences is a total game changer for guiding your clients out of their traps.
Section 5, developing adult ethics. Now we need to evaluate how a client constructs their moral framework. There is a stark contrast between unexamined obedience and a genuine ethical system. If a client does something good purely because of a parent-programmed should, well, that's merely an act of obedience. It's not true ethics. History is full of tragedies caused by blind conformity to authority. An adult ethical system involves objectively scrutinizing those inherited values. The client discards what's destructive and integrates what promotes growth. Their actions become based on preserving human health and dignity, rooted firmly in an adult position of, I'm okay and you're okay. And you'll notice that an ethically integrated client extends their awareness far beyond themselves. They realize that in matters of injustice, apathy is consent. So they actively work to solve personal, community, and even global problems. As Byrne vividly suggests, they crusade against the 4 horsemen: war, pestilence, famine, and death. They truly cherish human potential and work to create environments where everybody can become winners.
Section 6, the courage to win. Let's wrap up by discussing the internal resources required to sustain this level of integration.
Because let's face it, none of this is easy. The poet Robert Frost noted that courage is the human virtue that counts most, the courage to act on limited knowledge and insufficient evidence. Because honestly, that's all any of us have. It takes serious courage to be a real winner, not by beating someone else, but by responding authentically to life. It takes courage for our clients to accept intimacy, take a stand, and consistently choose authenticity over approval. Stepping away from the familiar misery of a script requires profound bravery. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought for your own supervisory reflections. If we are constantly asking our clients to step into the unknown, to shed their scripts and risk true autonomy, how are you modeling that very same courage in the therapy room? As you guide your clients toward discovering they were born with what it takes to win, remember that your own integrated adult is literally the most powerful tool you bring to the session. Thanks for joining this explainer, and keep doing the courageous work.